Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. It's a lovely, lovely day once again. Welcome back to the Underachievers Podcast. Haven't done one of these in a long time, but that's okay because we just do them when we have something to talk about, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a little bit off topic from our usual film spiel. Of course, I guess introductions are afoot. My name is the Habitual Pixel. This is my co-host, BigNasty Productions, and I believe this is the 14th episode of the Underachievers Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a few things, but mainly the announcement of Fallout 4, and I am, of course, wearing my Vault Tech official member t-shirt as well. And if you can't tell, we're a bit hyped for this video game. So the main topic today will be, of course, Bethesda's follow-up to Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Just announced last week, or this week, I guess, Fallout 4. Hell yeah. I don't know about you personally, but this is my most wanted video game ever, I think. I mean, Half-Life 3 I'd love, but that just ain't coming. And besides that, like, Fallout, yes, Fallout. It's my, it's got to be in my top 3 franchises ever, and I love this series so much, and I was delighted to see when they started to tease the other day, and then they eventually just dropped the bomb, the nuclear bomb that is Fallout 4 on the internet. The internet exploded. The trailer's got 10 million views now.
That's insane.
Everyone is hyped as fuck, and you know, so are we. All aboard the Fallout hype train. What are your thoughts on the announcement of Fallout 4 and your thoughts on the Fallout series?
The only thing that I regret about getting the new console, getting my Xbox One, is the fact that since I got rid of my Xbox 360, I can no longer play Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3. And that's literally the biggest regret I have about the new consoles. Now that the fact that they're going to be coming out with Fallout 4, get it, 4, but for the new consoles, cool. I'm beyond excited. I don't even have words. I'm almost speechless when I saw the trailer, even though it really doesn't show you much about what the premise of the game's really going to be.
Almost a teaser, yeah.
Yeah, you do see a lot of pre-war footage, which I kind of think might lead to the fact that maybe they're either going to do some sort of split timeline, maybe you do the game in 2 sets, but who knows? I think that no matter what they do, Bethesda, as with New Vegas after Fallout 3, is always going to have a very clear and fresh objective as far as the Fallout franchise is concerned. Kind of like how they've been doing with Elder Scrolls up until Online.
Yep. Online, fun fact, was outsourced, so we can't blame Bethesda completely. Though I will blame Bethesda for outsourcing what they should have just done themselves. But on the other hand, fun fact, New Vegas was actually outsourced as well. Oh. And though they collaborated quite a bit on it, obviously, but it was done by, I believe the company's called Obsidian Entertainment.
Yeah, that's true. I do remember seeing that on there.
But it still had members of the same team and a lot of the same artists on board and stuff like that. So, you know, it goes both ways. But this is done by Bethesda themselves. And they only do one game at a time, if you don't know what this company does. Basically, they publish a bunch of games like Wolfenstein, Doom, the Dishonored series. Evil Within, yeah, that was a bit of...
Within. What did I say, Killer?
Killer Within. The Evil Within, which was a bit of a dud from last year.
The game sucked.
Yeah, we even tried that game early, and it was just... I'm like, it's kind of slow. It's kind of slow. But, yeah, the team run by a guy named Todd Howard. Big fan of his, have been since I was a kid. He's done all the Elder Scrolls games from the 3rd one on, and he did Fallout 3. And he did Skyrim, which of course was a huge, huge success. But that came out in 2011, and once he wrapped that, he was working on a mystery project for the last 5 years. And we finally know what that is. It's Fallout 4. This is the... they're putting all their effort back into Fallout, it seems. And that's a lovely, lovely thing.
Well, the fact that you said it's been the last 5 years, too, that he's been working on a mystery project, which now, at least... seems like it must be Fallout 4.
It is, yeah, it's confirmed.
It's not like there's going to be something else. So in that case, there has to be, I mean, obviously there's speculation that it's going to be coming out at a certain point. So do you not think there is a chance it could come out earlier than, say, November or October?
It's possible. I mean, there was no release date announced or even hinted at the trailer or on their website. I looked. I scoured. There's been a few rumors on, like, online listings and stuff. They usually let these things slip early because they're bad at their job. But nothing's been confirmed. But it looks like it's further along than I would have guessed. Like, they showed a decent amount of footage. They showed everything except gameplay, basically. I still gonna say it's more likely it would come out in the Christmas, like November, October. I guess it's October, November, December. There's like, those are the huge months for video games. If you don't know all the Halos, Call of Duties, all the big hitters come out during that time, and that's when I guess it would come out. But it's certainly possible it could come out sooner, like even this summer maybe. But what I do know is that we'll get an answer at E3, which is, what's the date today? It's about a week away, so that's good news. A little over a week away, and we'll know, and we'll probably see some like a demo of some sort, and we'll have all our answers.
That's the reason that I asked you, is because of the fact that so many bigger games come out in that time. It's going to be a little bit frustrating especially if they do show us some gameplay at E3 there for the presentation. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the first time Bethesda's ever done this?
Yep, ever.
So, yeah. I mean, it has to be something important. And if it is going to be a launch date that is before that time period, I, for one, would truly appreciate it. But you're right. I don't think it's not something we can definitely expect. I think you're right. I think it is going to be somewhere more along the similar timeline with something like what you're saying with the Halo franchise and things like that.
The heavy hitters,
so you get that kind of bigger spend figure right there, right? You're going right near Christmas. People are going to buy it.
They'll sell tons of copies, even though it'll be an M-rated game, but people will still buy it for their kids, and sure,
what did Grand Theft Auto 5 do? What was that again?
Rated M for mature, sure. I mean, I've been playing Grand Theft Auto games since I was, 12.
Since they were overheads?
Yeah, since they were the overhead ones. And then Grand Theft, I don't know. That's a whole different topic. The rating system means very little. I don't know. But it'll do well, and I think Bethesda's a confident enough company that they don't care about competing. Like, they'll just, I mean, Skyrim launched in November of 2011, I think, and I believe Fallout 3 was in the October era as well. That's really pushing my memory back, though. So I think they'll do well, but really I just want it to be done. Like, take your time, and they clearly have taken their time. They've been working on it for a long time, but I want them to release it when they're good and ready, I guess. I'm willing to wait, but I don't think that'll be the case. It'll probably be a this year release. I'm hoping so, anyways.
I really hope so too, because unlike you being patient enough to actually wait,
I'm not actually that patient. I just really want them to, I don't know, put some polish on it. I want to see a beaut of a game, which I have no doubt it'll be.
You basically don't just want to see a refurbished Fallout 3 and New Vegas kind of combined.
Yeah, they could. They could have done a sequel to New Vegas 2, something along the lines in between this, 6-something year absence between the last Fallout game, but they didn't. They chose to not do it until they're ready. So I'm thinking they're confident enough with this one. I mean, everything looks great, right?
Well, that's another thing to speculate on too. I mean, what do you really think the game is about, considering the fact that
yeah, we haven't.
New Vegas, it's clearly well after the atomic bomb that you see go off the nuclear bomb that you see go off in the trailer for Fallout 4. So do you think we're actually going to get to play a little bit of pre-war era, or do you think it's going to be they just kind of show that in video clips, perhaps?
I mean, there's the possibility that was all just for dramatic effect, because it did the flicker back and forth, which was cool. We haven't seen a whole lot of the pre-war stuff. And that's, we've seen, what was that mission in Fallout 3? Tranquility Lane? You ever play that one where you go into the VR thing? And yeah, that's the only glimpses you get at this pre-war. And a few, recordings and computer files and stuff like that.
Yeah, you get told, when...
Yeah, it's all hearsay.
That's true.
I think they are going to do it. The question is how, and couldn't tell you. It could just be the intro to the game. That's my guess, is that, you know how Fallout 3 you were literally a baby crawling around, you see then it cuts to when you're like 3 or 4 and you pick your skills, and then it cuts to when you're a teenager and then you're a man, leaving the vault ready to go after your dad. I think there's going to be some sort of setup for the grand mission of the game, just like there was in all their past games. And I think it's going to have something to do with that family shown in the trailer, if I had to guess. Could be the babe, like, even though the nuke kind of goes off in the trailer, but I had this idea that maybe the baby was passed to someone in the vault at the last second, and you play that kid growing up. Or there's a theory of, because it's clearly hundreds of years in the future, so that might not make sense. So there's a more likely theory of some sort of like cryogenic sleep or cryostasis kind of thing that maybe this vault has. And
you're talking about like Vault 111?
111, yeah, which is seemingly where your main character hails from, which is all but confirmed. We see him at the end of the trailer with the 111. We see the Vault 111 itself opening, so we know that that's likely your origin story as the main character. And that's a pretty safe approach. I mean, we all love is it the Lone Wanderer from 3? Or no, yeah, the Lone Wanderer is from 3 and the Courier is from 4. Those are your main characters, right?
Courier is from New Vegas.
Yeah, I call that 4. Yeah. No, it's not 4. This is 4, goddammit. So yeah, you're gonna be a vault dweller, but what remains to be seen is that the overall objective. Obviously, everyone knows with Bethesda games, you can go out the front door and never touch the main story for hours and hours and hours if you want. You can say, fuck it, you can point out a direction and go there. That's always been the appeal of these games, is that you can do whatever the hell you want. And that's
what drew me to Fallout.
You have a beautiful freedom in these games and in the Elder Scroll games. And
Skyrim,
yeah. Yeah. They're similar engine, same team, but they just, like, I don't know, it's classic RPG. Yeah, do whatever the hell you want, and the freedom is kind of nearly unlimited. Like, it's quite cool. But if I had to guess, that family is going to play some sort of dynamic in the in either the flashbacks or in the overall story. Perhaps you're the man and you were in cryostasis, and when you came out of cryostasis you saw that your wife and kids pod maybe emptied, and they escaped the vault somehow before you did, and your goal is to track them down, perhaps. I'm not sure. There's this is all just wild speculation, of course, but
so I don't know what it looked like to me. It was that he maybe is the baby because of the fact that, you know, he's in that house, but obviously it's showing the pre-war stuff, and he's talking about remembering sort of like kind of when he's talking about what it was like, and then maybe he was put in the vault because you do, as you even said, you see Vault 111 opening, you see him come out of it. So I mean, I think that it possibly is just going to be the fact that maybe somehow they knew about the blast coming. I don't know, and then just kind of handed the baby off. But I think it is definitely going to be the fact that, kind of like Fallout 3, you're the baby.
That would be probably the most likely, and that intro sequence will be likely that pre-war scene from the trailer. I think perhaps that'd be cool. I think they can handle that well, and it would set up things beautifully.
I think it's more than likely.
And excuse me, it'll be like one of the first times we ever get like a first-hand account of what happened before the war, and that's always interesting. Like, I thought the trailer was pretty haunting, like not so much the visuals, but the voiceover of the guy on the radio is like, we got and then he just pauses like he doesn't believe what he's seeing. It's like, we got nuclear detonations detected. This is bad, and I'd love to experience that a little bit, but I don't want them to dwell on it because I want to spend plenty of time in the wasteland.
Of course, you can't take too much away from what really makes them great, is the fact that it is so expansive and open. You can pretty much go anywhere and do kind of all sorts of different things while you're out there, right?
You can be a bad guy, a good guy, anywhere in between.
Sometimes redeem yourself, you know.
Yep. There's a guy on YouTube that did nothing but a playthrough where he tried to murder every single character in the game, and he did it, like nice. Every single one.
Nice.
Every NPC. And that's the freedom of this game. You walk into a town, you meet all these crazy characters. If you so feel inclined, you can just blast one right in the head. It might not be favorable outcome for you, but the freedom is always there, and I love these games for that. But yeah, previous point, I think that'll be the intro. That's a safe bet. But as for the Wasteland, I guess we can talk about what we know, which isn't a whole lot, but we know that it's set in Boston, or the Massachusetts area. We see the what is it, Beacon Hill? I always remember that from the Departed, that like religious building of sorts with the domed roof.
I don't know. When we were reviewing the Avengers movie, I thought for some reason I said Jonestown, which is, the Kool-Aid shit, even though I kind of meant Johannesburg. But
the Jonestown Massacre. That's a fun Google.
So I don't know much about geography.
Neither do I, and I know less about Boston, that's for sure. But
apparently names of things.
Yeah, it is Fenway Park, or Fenway Field is confirmed.
Yeah, Fenway Park.
Is in there, and there's a statue that they show that is also from Boston, so it's confirmed to be the Boston area. I don't know if that's going to play too much in, or how that's going to play into the story, because obviously Vegas, gambling, and money control played into the story, and in 3, a little bit of politics and like people holding on to the old ways, that played into the story. Brotherhood of Steel versus the whatever they were called, can't remember. That battle, the Enclave. Yeah, so how will the area and the conflicts play into it? Who knows? I'm excited to see.
I do hope you get to go into Fenway Park, though, because that'd be awesome if you get to see the Green Monster there. Maybe they'll have like some sort of mission when you have to get into Fenway Park for some reason. Mm-hmm. The one thing I gotta say from the trailer, it seems like they show what I would only imagine are ghouls coming at you real quick. It seems like the ghouls, they might have amped up the difficulty of the ghouls in this.
Yeah, I mean the feral ghouls, they were a little.
It would make sense.
They were pretty fast, but yeah, these ghouls were running at you full tilt.
It was like Dying Light, fucking.
Like knocking the shit out of the way. And if you notice in that scene, there was like a solid dozen of them in the background too. Like large numbers of these things were coming at you. And for all fans of Fallout, anytime you go into a supermarket, gotta be ghouls there, or at the very least raiders. Like just every super duper mart in the game always has bad guys in it, and this is no exception. So I love how they're playing things kind of sort of safe with all the various visual stuff they released in the trailer. You got all the classics, Brotherhood of Steel's there, the Death Claws, various mutant animals, those trader dude mutant cow caravan looking things. Power armor, Nuka-Cola, various, like the dog companion, which has been in every. They do a lot of things that Fallout fans would expect and want, and that's exactly what I want.
Anyone? See, I was wondering if this one might somehow have some sort of connection to New Vegas near the end of it, because of the fact that the German Shepherd isn't in New Vegas. Remember, you got Rex, who's like a dog,
that's
and he's
a good
he's
point,
like a robot
actually.
German Shepherd. So I don't know. Maybe something happens with him. I have no idea.
I can't remember what your dog was in Fallout 3. I'm pretty sure he was just a, like a mutt-looking dog, kind of, sort of a German Shepherd.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now.
I can't remember, but his name was Dogmeat, and that's what I'm gonna call this dog as well. And I will happily reload my save 2 hours ago to make sure he survives if he accidentally gets blown up somehow, which I remember in Fallout 3 happening. Like my dog died a couple times and I had to keep reloading. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna put him at home where he's safe. As much as I do want to wander the wasteland with my dag. So that's one thing I want: improved dag physics and dag AI, if you will.
You like dags?
I want your dog to be able to sniff out and find your armor or ammo and stuff, like all the
That'd
stuff.
be cool.
Yeah, which you could do in the previous game, but let's keep that on the up and up. I hope there's better follower stuff as well.
I hope it's everything that's great about, because there's things that are different, but things that are great about each from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. New
Vegas did a lot of stuff better. It did.
Mm-hmm. It really did.
And I hope they learn from those improvements.
I think it is because it's more about a war that's about to be going on over the Hoover Dam, right? So it's a little bit more intriguing.
There's a good central conflict to it.
Yeah.
And not that the Washington conflict is any pushover either.
Not true.
That shit with the giant communist destroying robot, if you remember him. I can't remember what his name was. Something Prime. Liberty Prime, yeah. And he was a giant robot and he just nukes communists. It's great. But I hope they go like full tilt on the crazy stuff. New Vegas had a perk called Wild Wasteland, and when you took that, all this, these cool events started happening. I want some of that in there. And of course the ability to, aim your gun. Let's put that back in there too, because that was desperately missing from Fallout 3. Not that, you could obviously you're more than capable without it with the VATS or whatever.
Yeah.
But still, if it's a first-person game, like, I kind of need to be able to aim my gun. So let's put that back in there. So I hope they learn from New Vegas's improvements, which I'm sure they will. They're not silly people. So yeah, any features you would like to see in this upcoming game?
I think I would like to see maybe even a little, because of the fact that it is, the next-gen consoles, I think I'd like to see a little bit more depth in terms of like character development, as far as the ways that the different characters look in the game too. Because I found in the previous Fallout games, it's kind of like, aside from yourself, well, even kind of including yourself, everybody kind of just looks the same but with different hair.
Yep, they're not exactly known for their polished characters, their polished facial animations, and even in Skyrim, some of them are really weird, even though they tried a lot with Skyrim. So I hope they continue that trend as well. And
even if it was as good as Skyrim for that, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
And aside from that, I feel like maybe if they have something along the lines of, because with the for instance, like the hacking and stuff like that. I wish there was a way that they can update that somehow make it a little more intricate than just like basically a word puzzle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I hope there's a few more little mechanics like that, like the hacking or lockpicking, or they should update those a bit. Is what I'm getting
just to give it a fresh look, right? Something different.
Which I'm sure they will do in some capacity. There's probably a lot of things they'll just play it safe with and keep the same, and that's fine too. But yeah,
that's true.
Thinking of features that I want, customizing.
Either way, it's going to be great. It could be a pile of shit, and I'll still think it's great. I guarantee it.
But they already have my money. It's all good.
Exactly. It's already done.
It's already paid for. I didn't pre-order it yet because I want to see what the special edition looks like. If there is any cool goodies with that, which I'm sure there will be. I'd love to see customization make a comeback, like New Vegas's, scopes and silencers and stuff you can put on your weapons. I want to see a lot more of that. Like, let me tinker with my guns. Let me tape two clips together. Let me, even the power armor, like it showed the power armor in the garage. Like, maybe you'll be able to customize and work on that somehow.
I'm hoping you can use that, the power armor right from the beginning of the game. That's what I'm hoping.
It's possible. It's alluded to that, it looks like some sort of home base area, that little garage.
That's what it did seem like, yeah.
Yeah, and with the power armor and all the laser gun and tools and all that stuff. So I'm hoping that's like kind of, one of your early homes in the game, and you get to, you can work on your power armor and maybe scavenge for different parts and stuff. That'd be cool. I would love to see that kind of stuff. And like you said, a vast improvement on dialogue and facial kind of stuff, which they didn't show a whole lot of. It's always going to be kind of, stale looking with these games because of how big they are.
Oh yeah, obviously they put attention in more intricate details
and more important details as far as I'm concerned. But I'd like to, get some top-notch voice acting, some good writers in on this. Like I'm sure it's already written and recorded. They've always had names like Liam Neeson, Ron Perlman in these games. Like I hope there's some decent talent in this one as well. The Galaxy News Radio is shown like a little billboard, so we know that radios are going to come back. I hope there's a couple cool personalities on that. I'd love to see better voice acting in the game, but that's a nitpicky kind of thing.
Yeah. Basically anything we can say is because, essentially, in my opinion anyways, the combination of Fallout 3 and New Vegas is essentially the best, like the greatest game I could possibly play. For someone like me,
The game I always wanted was Fallout and New Vegas put together. And now that the new generation is here, redone for the new generation, which it is. It's not going to be available on 360 or PS3 for a good goddamn reason. We need to move on. We need to give these games the power that they deserve, and everything. This is I guess this is still a rumor. I don't know if it's confirmed, but everything shown was like in-game footage. Basically, it wasn't like computer rendered or anything. So people are nitpicking that it doesn't look great. I'm like, you fucking spoiled bastards. It looks just fine. Like, it looks really good. And I'd rather them put the graphics at a point that they can handle it and still make the experience what they need to, rather than like hype up super fancy graphics and then not be able to deliver them, like Watch Dogs or a couple other games that looked sick in the early trailers and the early gameplay, but then by the time they finally came out, they were so scaled back just to make them fucking work.
I kind of feel like Dishonored was that way.
Dishonored kind of was that way, yeah. Still a fun game, but it is overly ambitious, I think. We might see a new entry in that series this year as well at their little conference, maybe, but I hope at least half of that show is saved for this game, man. Goddamn, give the people what they want.
Yeah, I really hope so. I can't wait for anything about this as far as video games are concerned. Except, actually, you know what else is going to be kind of awesome, but it almost puts a damper on how excited I was for that. I feel like maybe that's why they announced it, but the Mad Max video game.
Yeah, the Mad Max video game looks interesting. I don't know when it comes out or when it's supposed to come out, but the combat looks
better than I thought it might when I was looking up the trailer.
Same. That's exactly what I thought. It has it looks like an Arkham take on the Wild West, or the Wild West, the Wild Wasteland, I guess I should say.
It's got that Ant-Man appeal to me. I don't know if it's going to be good, but each time I see the trailer, I'm just like, it could be, I guess.
It could be. Yeah, I mean, who knows? But Ant-Man does look better every time I see it. It could be okay. We'll see.
It could be okay. It could be absolutely god-awful.
But to all the haters saying that Fallout is, this is a case of hype, nah, we're good. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there's no chances. There's nothing that could possibly not make it a good game.
No, there's not. Like this is a professional company with over a decade of million-plus selling games. Like, let's not worry about them. This is going to be a great fucking game.
It's going to be incredibly impressive.
I'm just excited to see.
I know it.
Yes, I'm just excited to see this franchise return to glory, and I hope there's, they've done heavy research in the forums and online, like just looking at what people want and take that into account, and polish the features that weren't perfect. Like pathing for one, like trying to scale obstacles in the wasteland sometimes, super frustrating. We could probably do with an improvement on that. But then again, it's not really a parkour game. You're not really supposed to be hopping all over the place. So, hey.
It'll be interesting, though, with the developments in some certain games as far as that aspect of the
mobility and stuff.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do to incorporate something along those lines. I could see them definitely trying to use something like that.
Yeah, I hope you're a little bit more agile. Unless you're running, you kind of always feel like a bit of a tank in the Fallout games, which is
you're pretty stationary.
Yeah, kind of. So you're not even though it's a gunplay based game, you need to rely on positioning and VATS more than you do on like dodging and weaving and first person shooting, and that's fine. It's what the series is built around. But I'd like to see a little bit more ease in the first person shooting. Maybe not at first, but if you build up the skills, like I want to feel like a bit of a badass, like just not having to use VATS all the time, just being able to bust off a cool shot every once in a while.
Also, I think that they should, I don't know if it's something that would really matter to them, but aside from gunplay, I really wish they would do something about
melee weapons.
Well, that, and even just unarmed combat, something to advance that, because it was pretty awful even in New Vegas.
Oh, it was. No one ever.
There's games for Xbox, not even 360. There's games for Xbox that have better hand-to-hand combat.
Oh yes, fucking very much so. What was I gonna say? Yeah, no one ever really plays a melee class or a brawler in the Fallout games. Though you can, and there's plenty of weapons available for you if you want to take that route. But, and some cool weapons like that power fist and stuff that you can knock people's fucking heads off with. It's great fun when you... with all my characters in Fallout games, I usually try them here and there, but I never stick with them just because guns are too good. Like, and you're absolutely right. I hope they put a little more focus on that. Maybe fisticuffs feels better, and hopefully some melee combat also feels better, which it should. I mean, Skyrim was all about the melee combat, right? Like swords, axes. I don't know if you enjoyed that very much, but it was better than it's ever been done.
Yeah, I liked it.
They could at least, you know, you can block and parry and do power hits and stuff like that. And that needs to make a comeback as well. And those slow-mo kills where you follow the bullet through the brain and stuff. Have those happen every time. I wouldn't even mind. I hope the Bloody Mess perk comes back as well, which I'd bet my bottom dollar that it will.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I'd like to see more perks, like more different perks. I don't want to see just the same ones again. That's the thing.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
obviously there's some that I love that I see put back into it, but
yeah, there's a bunch of
different new ones too.
I would love to see perks, maybe even reworked a little bit, like maybe a different. It's always been just like pick from this list that gets longer as you go. Maybe, I don't know, there might be room for improvement there, but I can't exactly think of how I would improve it. But I do want
earning it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there is some earned perks in the Fallout games as well. You get for completing things and doing things, but I don't know. Maybe a little bit more refined system there. I can't really put my thumb on what exactly I want though. I'd like to see the diversity of perks continue, like the really random cool ones, like the stranger one where that guy in the trench coat just shows up and blasts a guy.
Yeah, with the Magnum, just blasts a dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like you meet him behind a sign.
Yeah, I like that guy too. There's a guy in this Fallout 4 trailer who looks just like him actually, and I wonder, I wonder. And another thing I forgot to mention, it looks like we're gonna have weather for the first time in a Fallout game. They showed rain.
Really?
They showed rain and a little bit of wind in there. So this might be a less irradiated part of the wasteland, because we know
I missed that.
It's only in the one scene that's at night, and like it looks like the underbelly of a city. It's just a quick shot, but it appears to be raining if I'm not mistaken. So I'd love to see a little bit more ambiance in the surroundings, you know. This Fallout 3 was like, Washington was like right on a bomb site, basically. Nothing, it was gray, all gray skies and gray everything. And it also looks like there's a little bit more color this time around, if you noticed.
It's definitely gonna, I feel like it's gonna be more city-like, like it was with New Vegas. Like, but kind of on a bigger scale, it seems.
It seems like this main Boston, you know, hub or survivors, if you want to call them. It looks like they got a decent city or organization built up, and kind of like looks like Megaton a little bit, but obviously a lot bigger and a lot more colorful, bigger buildings, stuff like that.
And well, it seems like it's a lot of buildings that were still left, like as a kind of like how it is in New Vegas. Like that's what I mean. It seems like it's almost maybe protected area, kind of like New Vegas was.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this area was hit, obviously, like the entire world was, but not as bad as the previous two locations. New Vegas is, well, real-life Vegas is a desert, so New Vegas is going to be a little bit sandy as well, obviously. But it's nice to see a little bit more color, and not everything isn't just shades of brown and gray. There's still a lot of brown and gray, don't get me wrong, but I love to see a little bit of color in there. It's good.
Yeah.
Man, the visuals look sharp. I'm looking at some pictures right now, and everything looks exactly the way I've always wanted it to.
Yeah, I for one cannot wait. As soon as I hear a release date, I will be putting in a pre-order.
Yep, me too. And that's we're probably gonna know everything we need to know at the 2 weeks time at their press conference, and I can't fucking wait. I did not expect this when they announced the press conference. I'm like, oh, they got something big. Fingers crossed it's Fallout. And then they just up and start this countdown teaser on the Fallout site. I'm like, okay. Is this for real? And then, boom, trailer. Here you go. It's real. it's happening. I'm happy, but I'm hoping we get a good gameplay demo, a release date, all that kind of shit at E3, which I'm sure we will. Any other features you would want? I guess we kind of jumped all over the place there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Like we always do.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's what we always do. But
hey,
yeah, you know.
It's how we do. Yeah. Trying to think of features. I'd love to see the wacky
vehicles.
weapons. Yeah, vehicles. That's what we could talk about. There hasn't ever been vehicles really in Fallout games. The most you get is like places that transport you around, like fast travel. I guess that happens once or twice. In Skyrim, you could get carriages that took you between places, or you can get a horse. So, with the adding of the horse, makes me think they could possibly do some sort of vehicle, or at least improved transportation in this game.
Maybe even a crazy mutated horse. I'm fine with that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be fine with a mutated horse. Give me one of those fucking two-headed cows to ride if it's fast enough. I'll take
Brahmin.
that.
Give me a Brahmin.
I think, obviously, that should be hard to get because cars and vehicles would be very rare in this universe. But I still think it should be possible, and I'd love to see it because we do see some what are they called? Vertibirds. Yeah, those little helicopter things that the Enclave had in 3. We see a bunch of those, and then we even see a shot apparently from inside one or inside some sort of floating something. So we're thinking that air vehicles might play a role in it too. I'd love to be able to, like, you give me a small helicopter like the one in Mad Max, that little one-person dinky helicopter. Give me one of those to ride around the wasteland in. I'd fucking love it so much. I'd love to see vehicles. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'd say it's 50-50, but I'd love to see.
I hope so.
I'd love to see at least some sort of like maybe a carriage or some sort of system to get around a little bit faster. Because yes, I know exploring this wasteland is half the fun of this game, and I still will happily walk from one side to the other just to see everything. But once you get into the quest mode and you're just trying to finish things and hop around, and you need a better system of transportation. I hope they.
Not to mention when you've played it through for like the 6th time.
Yeah, and you're you don't need to exactly wander around and explore as much, and you just want to get things done more or less.
Exactly.
So I hope they take that into account. I mean, I think they will, but we'll see. They did show a few things that would allude to it possibly being in there. So, fingers crossed. Give me a dirt bike. Give me a Mad Max's car or something. Give me something. What about a bicycle? You think you could still fuck with a bicycle in the apocalypse,
you could definitely still fuck with a bicycle.
Yeah, get a fixed up mountain bike, some sort, like with a bunch of random parts and shit on it. I'd settle for that.
Yeah, you put like a laser gun on it. Laser Gatling gun on the front.
Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, I hope to see that because obviously power armor will make a return. That's a no-brainer. It'd be cool to see.
It's right in the garage.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see a few more variants of that. Maybe different variants that have different purpose. Like this one's a speedy power suit. This one has more armor. It's a bit slower, something like that.
Well, that's where I'm hoping they're gonna have something kind of like the NCR, right? I kind of hope they have something like that, but for the East Coast, if not just Boston. There's going to have to be some sort of...
There probably is. I mean,
until we know more about the premise or the storyline of it, we really...
It is just speculation. Yeah, it's speculation. We do see the Brotherhood's power armor, or quite clearly. So we know, I mean, they're in every game. I expected them to be here.
At one point, they even say that was pretty much everywhere.
And so I expect them to be there. The Enclave might be there. I guess they're pretty much everywhere too, though they weren't huge in Vegas. We probably won't see the NCR too much. Maybe like a Traveler or a ex-NCR, maybe something like that. Because obviously that takes place in California. Yeah. But we probably will see some sort of like Boston-based group, I would imagine. There's rumor at MIT, like the biggest technology college or the technology university in
awesome.
Yeah, in I guess it's the biggest one in America, more or less.
Yeah.
And that's in Boston, so maybe something to do with that, like a technology-based, faction, if you will, that holds down the campus area. Maybe that'd be cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, factions have always played a part in these games, and that's definitely going to come back. Like
herpes?
Maybe, but it'll come back. And like, what was I gonna say? Reputation systems, yeah, that'll come back as well. Like, be favorable favorable with one faction, unfavorable with the others. Yeah,
Yeah, don't be a bad boy, or you'll get in trouble.
Sorry, where were we? Factions, yes. Any other thing you want to talk about in regards to factions? Think the tunnel snakes are going to be back?
I really hope not.
I doubt it. I want to at least see a piece of graffiti that says
vaults.
Yeah, there probably won't be that, but I'd love to see a Easter egg of tunnel snakes rule written somewhere.
That would be cool. What I'd like to see is a better association. Maybe it'll be before the super mutants kind of hate humans. I don't know.
Yeah, I
just want to see something different. Honestly, I really just want a brand new Fallout. I don't want it to be anything like the others.
And it is, I guess it's
just the setting alone changes the entire playing field, right?
It's closer to Washington than it is Vegas, but obviously it's far enough away from both of those that it can be its own thing. And I'm really excited for that, so I hope it's its own thing. Maybe there's a group of mutants that you can align with in a certain ways here and there, because we've obviously had mutant companions, and in Fallout 3 you could let them into Tenpenny Tower and let them take over. I hope there's just that kind of like different missions, and yeah, I'd love to see androids back again. They were a really cool part of Fallout 3. I'd like to see robots. Obviously everyone loves robots. They showed all the famous ones, like what's the butler one called? Mr. Handy.
Yeah, Mr. Handy. And one of them was like the
little eyeball one. That's and then the Fix-It, Mr. something. The Protectron. Protectron. Yes, that's what.
Isn't that the ones that actually have the little arms?
Yeah, they have the little stubby arms, and they walk like they're not very well made. So I'd love to see more robots and cool stuff in there.
I'm pretty sure that's what Prim is. The buddy that you make the mayor of Prim in New Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, you can. You don't have to.
You can, yeah. You can.
Or him, the sheriff, I should say, not the mayor.
And you can have a super mutant companion in both games, I think. I can't remember what they're both called, but I want to see some...
The one in New Vegas is a lady, and I can't remember her name.
Yes, and she's a beast. I usually use her. And there's one in 3 as well. I can't remember his name. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to discuss on this lovely topic that we could probably ramble indefinitely on?
Honestly, I think anything else we really have to say is probably best kept up until we at least see what they're going to do at E3, because like we said earlier, Bethesda's never done this before, so it'll be interesting to see what they have for everybody, and I, for one, cannot wait, and I don't know about anybody else, but as soon as the trailer hit, and I'm pretty sure as soon as I see the presentation at E3, I'm going to need another change of pants.
Hell yeah. This is like Christmas in the middle of summer. This is, I guess we should probably stop our speculation here, but I will happily say this is my favorite gaming announcement in quite some time. I'm hyped as fuck, and I hope there's, at E3 we find out all the answers we need, and we can do yet another one of these where we talk more about Fallout. I can't get enough Fallout right now. I'm on the subreddit every other day checking for new news now, so
getting Fallout boners.
Yeah, hype train assemble, basically. But I'm a long-time fan. I even have this guy handy right here. But it's my favorite franchise. I'm happy to see a new one, and I think we'll wrap it up there. Now that we've chit-chatted about Fallout 4 for the better part of an hour. Thank you all for joining us. Anything else you want to talk about today?
I think we should probably wrap it up there. As you said, we just talked about it for close to an hour.
Hey, it's what we do. So yeah, this was the Fallout 4 episode of the Underachievers. Thank you for hopping on the hype train with us. My name is the Habitual Pixel. This is my co-host BigNasty Productions. Links to all of our work in the description below. Subscribe or like if you enjoy what we do. And war never changes. We'll see you next time.